session as well. So welcome Amol to our today's webinar. Thank you so much for doing this for us. And the audience, welcome everybody for today evening webinar. Just to give you a brief overview about Amol. Amol is the Director of Manufacturing Operations, Global Sourcing and Supply Chain for GE Aviation Business India. He's a postgraduate of manufacturing engineering from IIT Delhi, and he started his career with Maruti Suzuki in 1988. Amol comes with more than 2 decades of experience across automotive, engineering, and aviation industries. He's been successful in taking industries from startup stage to the maturity levels in various areas, including new product development, setting up green and brownfield manufacturing facilities, strategic global sourcing, designing supply chain solutions, and much more. Amol has also been a part of Make in India initiative, leading green facility setup as well. And in his current role in GE Aviation, he is driving adaptation of lean and digital technologies to enable predictable execution and optimization of process and resources. And Amol is here to share with us his experiences about leading the initiatives. So before I hand over to Amol, a brief announcement for everybody. As usual, this webinar is eligible for CCUs. And once at the end of the webinar, I'll be posting a link in the chat box. Kindly complete the form and submit within 24 hours, and you will receive your CCUs at the end of the year, that is after November. So with this, completely over to you, Amol.
So first of all, thank you, and apologies if you are hearing a little bit of a background noise, because there is a situation with one of my friend and I had to rush to help him out. And that disturbed a little bit of my schedule, but I think I'm good. I can spend next 55 minutes with all of you. It is my pleasure to be here today. And I hope you are able to see me and hear me okay.
Perfectly fine, Amol, and thank you so much, despite your last minute challenges, for being able to make it. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Sure. So this today, basically, what I'm going to do, I'll be sharing my screen, and I'll be sharing some of the videos and some of basically just to set the context to start with, where I'm coming in from, what GE Aviation is, what we do in terms of lean and digital here. And then the last thing which I want to touch base upon is what all the initiative we are taking. The whole cultural piece is like driving all the kind of change. And I think more and more I think about it, I feel that the culture is the key to drive anything and everything within the organization. And that is where we'll put some more time. And maybe I should be taking like 35 minutes. And then after that, we can have some of the question and answer, and I'll be happy to answer. So let me share my screen, and then let's get into the session. Just quick confirmation if you're able to see my screen. Okay, good. Thank you. So again, as I said, I'll be touching base upon one important topic in the manufacturing industry, which is nothing but the whole operation excellence. And every day you do what you do in order for you to be more and more productive. And at the end of the day, deliver value to customer and deliver value to your shareholders. Now, I represent the GE Aviation here. I'm with GE for last close to 17 years. And the GE Aviation business, our mission is we invent the future of flight, we lift people up and bring them home safely. So that is what the mission for all of us. And again, that is what we'll live by. And saying so, I just want to give you a quick glimpse of what I mean when I say that what we do at the GE Aviation. A quick glimpse I want to give each one of you to see in terms of the product portfolio, what we have. So we are into basically commercial aviation. We are into military. We are into additive manufacturing, and we are into like a lot of avionics, and that's what we do. Let me just see if I can run this video for you.
Yeah, James, so just please hold on. He is trying to run the PDF. He's not speaking right now. Amol, one of our panelists is saying if you put it in presentation mode, then it will become hyperlink.
Sorry, can't hear you.
If you put it in a presentation mode, then it will become a hyperlink.
Oh, okay.
Or else you
Sure.
have to copy paste in the Explorer.
Yep. So this is the one. So again, this business like completed 100 years last year, and really proud of that. We are like today as we speak, we have like close to 75,000 plus engines flying across the globe, and pre-COVID, like every other minute, a flight with the GE Aviation engine was flying off across the globe or taking off and landing. Now, coming from the big aviation context to the context where I work in, so I work out of a facility in Pune in India, wherein this is a beautiful facility. We just started in sometime in 2015. And this facility is one of the showcase site for GE, wherein the whole concept is a multi-modal manufacturing, wherein the different G businesses are coming together and getting their product built at one location, which is like an experiment of its own. And we started this sometime in 2011, thinking about this project, and then we finally could give it a shape where we started our operation in 2014, and we formally inaugurated in 2015. And this facility is basically doing serving all the GE businesses except the GE Healthcare. In fact, we also service the product for some of our earlier businesses like WebTech, which was earlier GE Transportation, and Baker Hughes, which was GE Oil and Gas. So maybe another time for another video. Maybe let's see if I can play it that way. Yep. And that is where I'll give you a quick glimpse of the factory, which I'm going to talk about today, the kind of the whole transformation, what we have done. And then we'll get into the subject. Oops. Give me one more minute.
Not happening again?
No.
So maybe copy paste in the browser.
No, it will work. I think that was a different link. No, I think there is something wrong here. Give me just 1 minute. It should be there in my history.
Sure. If you want, you can just paste it in chat and maybe I can play it from my end then.
Sure.
Just a moment, I'll play it from my end.
So this particular facility, basically, I would say two important things. One is the whole multi-model manufacturing, a lot of product under one roof. But the second thing is this like a state of the art in terms of the whole, all digital tools, and coupled with the lean manufacturing to make it more and more productive.
Can you see that, Amol?
Yep. You are playing it again? Okay. Thanks. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I think, let me just go back. And so what the factory you saw is basically the whole digitization evolved over a last 4 to 5 years, wherein like any other organization, we started when we were like starting this operation, everywhere there was a manual data, which we started thinking about as soon as we started, and we said, yes, there is going to be one ERP. And then we latch on the manufacturing execution system on the ERP so that you are connecting all your ERP data through the MES. And that is where we started using all the digital screen on the floor. And that gave us the complete visibility in terms of how the shop is moving. Now, our biggest challenge was that how to adopt that technology for the people. And that is where the whole cultural piece comes into play, that you can select the best of the best technology, but how we are going to make it operationalize where people are using it, and you are getting the results, and you are seeing the entire supply chain visibility on the real-time basis. So that is where we first created a culture where people started using it. On top of it, then we started collecting the feedback from the people, and I started creating some of the tools which helped us to get the information we wanted to collect out of this system. And that is where we could get some of the real-time visibility. Then with the help of our digital team, we moved on to the next step where we started connecting and converting this data more to do with the analytics. And then the journey where we are in today is we're looking at more and more predictable execution, that how can we predict before something goes wrong in the entire supply chain, and how can we do like real-time monitoring and then take decisions based on what we see. So this is one journey which was like one of the big thing for us since our inception. And not just this one, but the overall growth of the site in terms of as we are growing from a pretty young site. You have your own challenges in terms of the starting it up and taking it to the maturity. But on the same side, we're driving the digital initiative, which was like the another big thing for us. Then while while we were doing this whole digital journey, the same time we spent good amount of time on coaching and learning lean for our team, because that is the way we want to operate. And that is the way we think that we can be more and more productive and bring the value for customer as well as the shareholders. And that is where we started connecting our entire team to the customer values, that what customer pays for and what customer values for. And that is where they started the culture that we started displaying our KPIs across the shop floor, where there is a visibility to the entire team, not just at the middle or a senior management level. Then that helped us to at least create awareness. On the same time, we started doing a lot of lean training and a lot of lean tools, workouts on the floor that helped a lot of people to more and more engaged and committed to the lean. And that is where we started seeing a lot of engagement and proactive approach, where people started working on some of the tools. And then that is where we started seeing a culture getting built up, where people are doing the scientific improvement. They are thinking, they are implementing some of the tools, and they are like always looking around at how they can improve the quality, how can they ensure the safety, how can they improve the productivity and deliver the cost out to the business. And at the same time, how they are going to have the ease of working for the people. And the next level where we worked extensively is the moving line. As we started, there was a mix of push and pull, but then going by the lean principles, we started creating the flow lines in the moving line, and people started seeing the benefit. That was another culture change we had to pull in, because always there is a tendency, or there is a thought process that I can be most efficient when we are in a push system, when we are into kind of a batch processing compared to the moving line. And that is where our team spent a lot of time with our people on the floor, as well as the people who are designing the process to create the flow and establish the pull. And that journey goes on. And today where we are like moving up, and also keep looking at the options, that how can we keep optimizing, how can we keep driving the improvements, and how can we keep creating the environment where we can take it to the lean level, to the next level in terms of the lean. So those were the two initiatives which helped us basically operationally. But if I look at what all we had to do in order for us to create this was nothing but, as rightly said by Mahatma Gandhi, that like this is the way we think about it, that a nation culture resides in the heart and the soul of the people. And for us, it was like the entire organization culture resides in the hearts and the soul of the people. Because if you can create that culture where everybody is contributing and everybody is delivering at the same pace, I think that is where the whole success of the organization comes into play. And that is where we have seen that people are going above and beyond in delivering the customer values, and then the creating the growth, and in the whole process, the entire organization work like one very well-oiled machine. And that is the way I think when I talk about the culture, that is where I think about it, that it should start from top to bottom, and from the bottom to top, everybody should be thinking about that, how you are developing a culture where people are always working towards the positivity and delivering the results, and people are open, people are candid, and they are trusting each other, and like still delivering what they need to deliver for the organization. And the way I see about it, like when I talk about the culture, this is what I think about some of the building block, or I call this as a transformation, which helped us is like, one thing is the vision and mission, which I'll talk about, that how we established that, how we established the entire one team, how we created the whole customer obsession when we were like working on the various problem solving, and how we have created the whole learning and growing culture across the organization, so that the entire organization has become vibrant. And when I took this role, this is what I think it worked for us. And I would strongly recommend that whenever we are driving an initiative at an organization level, always we need to think about what is the goal, what is the big why for the team, other than your mission statement, which is like, yes, we need to, but like we invent the future of flight, we lift people up and bring them home safely. But again, if you just break it down in the local context, that what it means for the people. And this is what I created when we were working, saying the team that where we are today, and that is where we need to be in the next 5 years. And when we are going to be in this 5 years, we could envisage that what kind of challenges we are going to face, what kind of ecosystem we need to have, how we are going to be like keep adding more and more people to the team, what should be our structure to bring the fresh people from the college, which is our model. And that is one of the another thing which I'll talk about, that how we need to keep bringing them up from the college, and how we need to create a culture where you are converting them from campus to corporate. That is another thing, that when the fresh graduates coming in from the college, what all you need to work with them, because they have a lot of energy, passion, a lot of knowledge around what they read in the class, but then how you're going to convert that into other things which you need to do it on the floor. So this was the one thing I think which worked up for me, wherein we created the whole vision. And with this vision, what we have done, that we created some of the KPI which were like very visible to the person at the bottommost in the pyramid, wherein he or she can connect that how they are working or how they are impacting positively to the customer and to the whole vision. And the first and the foremost, which is very important to us, was the culture of around the safety. Because if you look at the country like India, the safety is there, but it is not really up to that level compared to east or the west. When I see it from our geography point of view, that is where we started a culture that each one of us need to be safe, not just while they are working, but during the entire value chain, when people are coming in from their homes and then going back up to the home, and how they are working on in terms of taking care of their safety, not just them, but their families and everyone else. So that is the one thing which we started driving. Second thing we talk about it, the quality, how we are helping and how we are not disrupting the customers, basically the outcome. And that is another thing we should create, that in their sale, they were able to understand and connect that how the kind of product they are making, how they are going to impact customer in terms of the quality and what all they need to do. And then the whole product requirement in terms of the aviation standard, how we need to keep delivering. The third thing, which was very important, is in terms of which is in the manufacturing industry, is very one of the biggest losses is like your first pass seal or the cost of the quality, where your goods are basically not able to qualify to the final process and getting rejected in between. And that is where we created that environment that people are able to see and understand that how much the scrap they are generating in their process and how they are having a clear visibility on a day-to-day basis. So those are some of the things which where directly people were able to connect to their work area. And then definitely some of the other KPI in terms of the output, in terms of the cost, and in terms of the other parameters were part of their daily metrics. So I think that is one thing which we worked, where we were able to transparently show them that as a team where we are, what are our KPIs, and then we created a single source of truth. That means the data should be visible and available to each and everybody, and that is where we could create the ecosystem where we could say that unless you are going to use the digital tools, you will not be able to get the data right on your fingertips. And that is where the whole adaptability of the digital came handy with us. So that is one thing I think worked very well for us. The next one, if I just talk about, is around the whole creation of one team, and how can we take out the hierarchies and how can we create a flat structure. And our site being the high performance team or teaming site, we created a very flat structure where there were only 3 levels within the entire organization. And the people who were like adding the value to the product or working on the floor, they have been given the name of team members. They are the part of the high performance team. And then the people who are like at a middle level, or the people who are like supporting the manufacturing or vendor development or maintenance or operation or quality, some of the senior folks were called as a coach. And then there were people who were the mentors. So that is the way we have divided the organization to 3 layers, so that we are creating an ecosystem where there are no hierarchies. There are no traditional hierarchies where you have like, and again, this word we don't use, but there are workers and there are supervisors, then there are assistant managers, there are managers, and then senior manager, general manager, and so on and so forth. So that is where we have created a very flat structure. And the beauty of this structure is like it was a very open structure. Secondly, it was a structure where the whole idea was that how can we learn and grow, and how can we solve the problem. And that is the where in place of supervisors, we were having the coaches who are helping this team member to solve their problem in a high performance teaming environment, which I will be talking in the next slide. So, and I'm sure a lot of you might have practiced it or knowing the high performance teaming, but this is the way I look at it, our whole high performance teaming, where, as I said, that from a hierarchical model is like, which is traditional organization, we created the high performance teaming. And for the people who don't know about the high performance teaming, this is the way we divided our entire population of close to 1,800 people into 60 different teams. And the whole idea about this team was that how can we create an ownership and empowerment at the people who are contributing or who are adding the value to the product, rather than people are directing from the top. And each of this team, if you pick up a simple, like one of the team from the entire team of 60 people, 30 people, you would see there are few roles which we have defined. And the first thing is the role is the captain. And captain is nothing but the person whom the team nominates and say, yes, this person is going to be our captain. And then they also nominate some of the star caps which are responsible for the respective function. Like you will have a star cap for the quality, you will have the star cap for the safety, you will have a star cap for the output, and so on and so forth. So there will be 5 to 6 star cap depending on the product line you are working on in. So they will form their own self-managed team, and they will be supported by a coach, what you see on this screen at the top. And the whole objective of this coach is to help this team to
Sorry,
solve their own
sorry
problems.
to interrupt you, Amol. Do you intend sharing the slides? Because slides are not visible. And
No,
I
I'm
felt
sharing the
that
slide.
you're, no, you're not. Maybe it is stopped because I thought you want to share your experiences without the slides. So I didn't
No,
interrupt you.
I'm sharing the slides. Okay. Maybe in between it was
Yes.
stopped. Okay.
And I was under the impression that you want to share your experiences and not directly
Oh,
the
sorry. Oh,
slides.
sorry. So let me.
So
Oh,
thanks, Arvind
I
Pandey,
moved
for
like.
bringing it to our attention.
Sorry, I moved like a couple of good amount of slides.
Yeah, but that is okay because
Okay.
your talk was very what do you call captivating.
Okay. So this is like where I started with our like the way I see the culture, and then I spoke about some of our building blocks, and this is what I just said, that we are like the way we have created the whole vision around that how we are going to grow. Sorry, my bad. I did not see the screen, and then this is the whole model where we have created the 3 layers in the organization. And where I was talking about this high performance teaming. So sorry, I'll repeat it again. But like traditionally, where you have the traditional structure, we change it to high performance teaming. And that is what I was talking about. The typical team will have your captain, you have the star captain, you have the coaches. And the coach is only there to help this team to solve their problem, help them to work cross-functionally, whatever they cannot solve within themselves, and the kind of help they need in terms of the training, in terms of the tools or learning or whatever they need to go and like beyond their circle of influence, the whole role of the coach comes into play. And all these teams put together, like working with the mentor, what you see here, wherein the mentor will be working with all the coaches. So this is like the 3-layer model we have developed, which is like rotating around the whole ownership and the empowerment. Now, another thing which we did with this, that while we have created the team, another thing we gave it a thought about, that we wanted to move again from a traditional one skill kind of environment where people, like when they join the organization, they latch on to one skill in the manufacturing environment, and they like go on through their life of their career. They do that only one or maybe two jobs. And like, for an example, if somebody is joining as a machinist, the person may be like entire his or her life would be doing the machining and may not be looking at around. But that is where we started from our day one. We created an environment. We are asking people that multi-skilling is the key. You cannot just have the single skill and grow in the organization. If you need to grow, you need to have at least 2 new skills added to yourself when you are ready for moving it to the next level. And I think that helped us to create an environment where people are open to learn the new things. And the whole idea was that as we are hiring all these fresh diploma engineers from the college, the whole idea was that they should be like learning, growing, and like always they should be keep learning something new, whether they are with us or whether they are working with any other organization. Their learning should not stop, because we feel that that is one of the things which we can give it to our employee in the manufacturing environment, where they are learning and growing. In fact, we started the programs where we are sponsoring their bachelor's degree or even master's degree for the people who want to opt for it. Coming in, like all our team members coming in from in and around I would call Maharashtra or other state, and coming in from a lot of people come from the smaller town where they have the language challenges. And that is where we supported them in terms of learning the local language, learning the English language, so that they can communicate with the global community. And what it helped, the whole high performance teaming helped us to create the entire ecosystem where people are ready to embrace the change, because they see that unless they learn something new every day, they are not going to grow. And what that helped us, when people started embracing the change, that helped us to create an environment of outstanding collaboration at their end, because at the end of the day, it is a team success, not a individual performance. And in fact, we did the whole reward and recognition program for the entire team, not for the individuals. And that is where we look for the opportunity where we recognize as a team, we give them the task as a team, so that they are working together and winning together. We started this as a top-down approach, but now when we see after 3 to 4 years, it is all and the bottoms-up approach, what we see in terms of the whole empowerment and engagement of the team. Now, this is like a very high level, but if I just peel one more layer and go down, what we have done basically, we have created an environment where there is a entire structured learning program for them. As we bring them fresh from the college, we started a training center here inside, where we were training them on the skills they need to perform their work on, and not just the hard skill or technical skill, but a lot of softer skills around how they need to be presenting, how they need to be talking, how they need to be analyzing the data, and so on and so forth. So that is one piece we have invested. Everybody who is coming, depending on the type of work they are going to do, they were there in the training school somewhere between 4 weeks to 12 weeks, depending upon the kind of a skill they are going to be acquiring for their first job. Then, and I spoke about the higher opportunities for the higher studies. Then another thing which we created an environment on the shop floor is doing more of why rather than what, or telling them what they are supposed to do. Again, we will create an environment where we are taking them to the why and let them figure out how and what they are going to do. So that helped us a lot to again create a whole ownership model where they were responsible for delivering the outcome rather than somebody telling them. And that is where this high performance teaming came into the picture. Second thing which we did is we created an open environment. and which is very important in the traditional manufacturing organization. It is very difficult for people to ask questions. And always I have seen in the traditional organization, people look at, in case of any issue, they look at the people. And that is where we changed the game and we said, no, we are not going to look at the people. We are going to first look at the process, because being a Six Sigma like champion all along our history of G, and now what we are learning on the lean, we should always look at the process, that how process is going to drive the outcome rather than people. And that is the same thing we started implementing on the floor, because whenever you are solving the problem, don't look at the person. Whenever you are doing a root cause analysis, your last root cause should not be a person. First, it should be the process. Unless you are able to find anything, or unless you are able to not find the something which you need to fix on the process, then only you can go to the people. But you should start from the process and drill it down, unless you fix all the problem in your process and take it to the people piece of it. We started spending a lot of time. I'm sure each one of you heard about the green belt or black belt trainings or master black belt, but we created another training program which is like yellow belt and the white belt, which is nothing for the but for like a basic elementary understanding of the Six Sigma for the people who are working on the floor, and just to create an environment and understanding that why Six Sigma methodology or a process control is important in their day-to-day work. I spoke about the promotion. Whole promotion is based on number of skills you are learning, how you are performing in that particular skill, and how you are coaching and mentoring your team member. Another thing which we did with this model in last couple of years is we spent basically a good amount of time coaching our team members on some of the interview skills. So now they, along with some of our coaches, they go for hiring now, and they select their peers or their team members. And I think that is helping us a lot in terms of the kind of ecosystem we have developed, where they are selecting their peers and they are bringing aboard. Huge motivation for the people who are going and selecting their team members. And on the other side is a good motivation for the student in the organization to see and feel the kind of people they are going to work with. So that is, those are the kind of things which helped us at a grassroots level for the people on the shop floor. Now, I will talk about more around what did we do with the coaches, because that is another big important layer. Unless you have that layer correct, you are not going to be able to achieve your outcome. And that is where we spend a lot of time on building the trust. And that is where we felt that people trust other ones because of three things. That is the way I could think of that. People trust you because of the role, like you are a manager or you are having a positional power. That is where people trust you. Another thing is people trust you because of your expertise, because you are expert in one area, and like you are a go-to person. And if you say something, people are going to like believe you. And that is the way they develop the trust. But third thing which we found is very important in our kind of environment is trust, which is building because of the relationship. And I think that is one thing which we put a lot of emphasis on. In fact, personally, I spend a lot of time coaching and mentoring my team to understand that how you can build the relationship, how you should be knowing people personally before you jump into any kind of a professional interaction or discussion with them. And again, I keep coaching team members in terms of the whole give and take model, that do you need to, like, are you just a giver? Are you just a taker, or are you just a matcher? And then again, we do keep coaching our people to understand that it is all about giving and taking help, and there is no harm in giving it back to the people rather than just always taking it. So those are the kind of thing we talk about. If you have time, I just want to play one video, and I'm sure you might have seen. I don't know if I've seen it or not, but I would say that this is one video I just want my team always to look up, and maybe I can just put it in the chat box where you can see it, that this is one thing which I felt in the environment where people do not understand like I would say they always go by the perception and don't understand the reality behind what is going on in other person's life, and don't spend good amount of time to know what is going on the other side. So let me just put this link and maybe you can just help to play this, share my screen back. But I think this is like a kind of a 2 to 3 minutes video, but I would say very, very strong message in terms of how you need to deal with the people. why you need to knowing somebody personally, what is going on in their life before thinking or making your opinion about someone. So maybe I'll request for you to just run this. I can stop sharing my screen. Sorry,
Just,
can't hear you.
just give me a moment.
Sure. Maybe you want to make it to this. Yeah. Thank you.
Can you hear it?
Yep, I can hear. Maybe you can stop there. I hope the message is clear, and that is what I keep telling my team, that this happens when you are working in an organization, and when you don't spend enough time to know people personally. This is what happens, where in order for you to make your point, you want, like, you go any point and like try to push people on the other side, compared to understanding and thinking about it, that why a person is like that, why he or she is reacting in that environment like that. And if you know anyone personally, like people personally, I think it's like a very different ballgame. And that is where at least I spend most of my time working with the people, and showcasing that how can we solve the problem, and how can we work collaboratively, because in the organization there are a lot of functions which are designed to have the conflict, but at the end of the day, what is the intent at the end is that there should be collaboration. And that is where people forget at times, and they keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And they think that conflict is the only is the only way to solve the problem compared to collaborating and solving. Another thing which we talk about is in our FED organization, we say that how can we work horizontal rather than going up and down and taking the decisions? How can we work collaboratively in a horizontal fashion and try to solve our problems? So I think that is another area where we put a lot of efforts. Another thing I want to talk today about is around the whole philosophy which we follow around how to achieve the outcomes. And that is where I feel that always we have taken this approach where we are setting up the goals. And while we set up the goals, and we always go and revisit progress, that how the progress is being made towards the goal, we have seen that the people's outcome start changing. They are more aligned towards the goal. And when you keep looking at the goal on a regular interval and keep reviewing how they are performing to the goal, we have seen the outcomes are keep coming in. So I think this is the goal behavior and outcome approach we are seeing is helping. And that is more to do in the digital environment where your goals, your performance, your output is very visible. And we have seen that the people's behavior is being driven to achieve the goals. And I think people are like working towards that. Again, on the same place, we spend a lot of time in terms of imparting the training to our second line leaders. Another practice we do for them to work very cohesively, the people on the floor, there is a mandatory timeout for the people to go to Gemba or the shop floor and go and visit and solve the problem and see where the action is happening in the manufacturing environment. And that is where they create their own entity and work with the HPT team. In fact, another thing is the whole performance of the HPT team. We have defined the KPIs. Those KPIs are connected to the KPIs of the coach as well. So they are also held responsible and accountable for how their team is performing and how they are delivering to the outcome. Now, I think we are almost at the time. So I'll just take to the last slide, which is like my summary slide, that what we could do for lean and digital, it was not possible without the culture, because culture is the key. We can adopt and improve and transform using any of the technology, but you need to have a right culture in place. Now, I see lean and digital are complementing each other because you keep digitizing your process, but unless you improve, unless you have the optimum process, you are not going to be taking out the inefficiencies out of the digital due to the digitization. And that is where you need to keep working very closely between lean and the digital so that they are complementing each other. Now, while in our digital journey, one is very important thing which we observed, that you can generate n number of data points. You can generate so many data tables, but unless you use this data for you to drive the smart decision, there is no success for the digital tool. And another thing which is very important is basically you need to be ready to accept the truth, because when you start digitizing the processes, you start implementing this on the floor, you will see all kind of data, a lot of data which will be good, a lot of data which will come out like always will be looking at bad, which was in the past was looking good. So again, you need to be ready to accept the challenges, to accept the data. And the last one is, I would say there is no right answer or wrong answer. It is like whole approach is how you experiment, learn and adopt to have this technology. But again, I would summarize that culture is the key. Unless you set up the right culture, unless you set up the right kind of mindset for adopting any change and any kind of initiative, you are not going to be getting the results what you are envisaging or what you are looking for. So that is where I'll stop, because I see there are 10 more minutes. So if there are any questions, I am ready to take up. But again, sorry for some of these technical glitches, which would have been not there if I would have been a place where I decided to. But again, I see the change is the only constant, and uncertainty is like the part of this VUCA world where we are today. So sorry for that.
So thank you so much, Amol. And really, you don't need to apologize, because despite your last minute schedule being, disrupted because of the last minute things, you still happened to make it and you delivered a fantastic presentation. In fact, I was so captivated in your talk, I didn't even realize that you're not sharing the slides unless somebody pointed out, you know. So thank you so much. It was indeed very interesting. And I open the floor for questions. I do see some couple of questions. I'll hand it over to you. When you say I coach my people, what do you mean by coach?
So basically,
Your
coach is
your voice is not clear, Amol.
so coach is a kind of a role where, okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Is it
Can
clear?
you, yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
So in our context, the meaning of the coach is the person who is hand holding the team, which is nothing but the shop operation team members who are the people who are producing the part. Their basic skill is how to produce the part. But what
Your voice is breaking again.
want
Amol, the voice is breaking again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying that the coach in our context is the person who is hand holding the shop operation people having lot of
Amol, the voice is gone again. Would you like to switch off the video and see? Amol, the voice is gone again. Would you want to switch off the video?
produce. Is it better now? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you can just switch off your presentation also, maybe that will help. Hello, Amol, are you there? Can you hear us, Amol? Oh, I think he dropped off because of the network issue. Um, Maybe we'll just hold on for a moment for him to rejoin us back. I'm sorry, friends. Today there have been a lot of technical glitches, and I really, really apologize for that. Um, but it's a bad day. At times it happens. So we'll live with that. Yeah, we'll just wait for some time to see if he can join back. If not, then I'm going to take up all these questions and post it to them. And yeah, somebody is saying Murphy strikes. Well, yes, looks like. Yeah, looks like it's Murphy's Law playing today. Full swing. But I hope you'll enjoyed the presentation because it was interesting. I got so captivated, I didn't even realize that he was not sharing his slides unless some of you pointed that out to me. Yeah, very interesting. Absolutely. I agree, Zavi, that he took it from his car, the whole presentation. He was on the way from the hospital. He parked his car to the side to do this talk for us. Let me just check if I can get him on phone. Mhm. No, I don't think he's going to be able to join in. So, anyways, thank you for people who are there on Facebook and who have watched us. And I would thank all of you. And once again, I apologize for all the technical glitches that happened today. If you could just post me your questions, I will forward them to Amol. And thank you all for joining in today. Have the rest of the day good. And of course, yes, I'm so sorry. I forgot to post the link for the Google form. Oops, sorry. Here is the link for earning your CCUs. Absolutely, Zarir. I will convey your thanks to Amol. I will convey the thanks from all the participants who are appreciating it. Oh, he's been able to join in, looks like. What? Yes, he's been able to join back. Amol, are you there?
Yep. Can you hear me now?
The voice is still breaking. I think there is a bad network at your end.
Is it better?
Yeah, but it goes musical in between.
Yeah, I think there's a power failure in this
I understand.
area, so I think lines are down. Is it better now with the video off?
No, Amol, it
Oh,
is
okay,
still
sorry
not
for
fine.
this. Maybe
No,
you
no.
can.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite questions from people on to my email and then I will forward them to you because I don't think it will be possible with the kind of bandwidth that you are in right now to take the questions. So I would like to
Sure.
thank you, Amol, and everybody is appreciating and really, really acknowledging you taking out time despite your last minute things and taking the presentation from your car. We really appreciate that and we really thank you for that. So thank you, Amol, for doing this for us and have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Really appreciate it. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. So please, everybody, fill in the form and submit it. And thank you all. Have a best part of the day.